Kyndryl's 2025 report shows 95% of firms invest in AI, yet 71% say their workforce isn't ready. To talk more about this, we have Dr. Vishnu Nanduri of Kyndryl and Aaron McEwen from Gartner. Welcome to the program, Dr. Vishnu and Aaron. Let's begin with the cause. Why are most firms struggling to prepare staff for AI?
Well, thank you for the question. It's a very timely question, especially since Kyndryl has just published its readiness report, which combines survey data from over 3,700 senior leaders and decision makers across 21 countries. What we're seeing is that there is a disconnect between the AI investments and employee readiness. We are seeing that only 54% of companies are seeing positive returns, and 62% haven't actually moved past the pilot phase. So what this tells us is the transformation is stalling, not because the tools don't work, but because people aren't being brought along. There's also a skill gap as well. About a third of the companies don't know how to close the skill gap. And also, let's be honest, fear plays a role. Employees worry AI might replace their jobs. So that has led to a resistance, with under half of CEOs reporting pushback and over a quarter concerned about disengagement. So if you ask us what the solution is, we'd say that companies need to build a culture of psychological safety, investing in upskilling, and clearly show how AI supports but not threatens their workforce. While we see a lot of tech optimism, the idea that deploying AI tools will automatically deliver results isn't just not it's just not true. So AI isn't plug and play. It requires behavioral change, transparency, and trust. So AI transformation, as we always say, isn't simply rolling out some technology. It's a people strategy. That's why we are working with Google Cloud and Digital Industry Singapore on the AI Cloud Takeoff Program in Singapore, helping local Singapore companies accelerate AI adoption while addressing cultural challenges. One example that I can think of is where we work with a local hospitality company where we co-developed an AI-powered training application that turns training videos into multilingual standard operating procedure documents and flowcharts using Gemini and Vertex AI technologies. So it's designed with employees in mind, making their jobs a lot easier and helping them embrace the technology.
Well, it's a combination of not being clear in what the organization's strategy for AI actually is and their intent for using it. But it also covers things like a poor approach to adoption. So many organizations are struggling to drive what we call AI literacy across the enterprise. And then finally, there's some issues around employees' fears of AI, particularly around job displacement. So there are a number of opportunities that organizations have to improve that adoption curve.
Given everything that you've both mentioned, how big of a risk would you say are talent gaps to AI adoption?
We believe that talent gaps are one of the biggest risks to successful AI adoption. AI projects don't fail because of technology, they fail because of talent gaps. When companies lack the AI talent, projects stall, slow down, or worse yet, get abandoned. That means missed opportunities for productivity, innovation, and losing your competitive advantage. What also happens because of talent gaps is it creates internal friction. Skilled employees end up spending time helping others to catch up, which slows everyone down. And as you all know, hiring AI talent is expensive, especially when the demand is so high and supply is limited. So to help close this gap, we launched the AI Innovation Lab in Singapore in June 2025. It's a regional hub that is designed to build AI talent and drive innovation across Asia. We're working closely with Digital Industry Singapore, and we're helping companies build reusable AI assets and future-proof their workforce. So the lab employs dozens of local specialists, including data scientists, AI engineers, and full-stack developers. And we offer hands-on demos to help organizations understand and deploy responsible AI in their organizations.
It's a substantial risk. Typically, what we find with most technology rollouts is that one of the major impediments to that rollout is either resistance from the workforce or simply a lack of adoption. And so In particular with AI, employees have many fears about the technology. Their number one fear is job displacement. So organizations need to be very clear in why they're using their technology and going to their workforce and allaying those fears around workforce displacement or people losing their jobs. The second biggest fear that they have is that the technology may be used in either an unethical or irresponsible way. So employees have major concerns about the impact of these technologies, not just on themselves, but also on their customers and their organization's reputation. So again, organizations should be very diligent in ensuring that staff understand how they're using the technology, where it's going to be used, and the safeguards that they have in place to ensure that the technology will be used for the right things and used in a responsible way.
So if you were to make recommendations, how can leaders close the AI adoption gap quickly?
If leaders want to close the AI gap fast, they need to focus on culture, not just technology. So the fastest way to close the gap is to build a culture of collaboration, curiosity, and data literacy. So this is exactly what we recommend from Kyndryl. Cross-level collaboration. When teams work together across business lines, they co-create solutions and eliminate all the inefficiencies. Curiosity is extremely important. Encourage your employees to explore and experiment with AI, and this will unlock creative use cases and give firms long-term value. And last but not least, data literacy. When people understand and use data, they make smarter and faster decisions. So when these are all combined into the culture, AI adoption becomes more seamless and more sustainable.
Yes, there is. There's a number of low-hanging fruit, so to speak. So the first one is that our research at Gartner found that 53% of the overall workforce for the average company actually either didn't have access to the tools, or if they did have access, that they weren't aware that they had access. So the first opportunity is in building that awareness of the tools, ensuring that all employees have access. And then the second component was that even those employees that did have access and knew they had access, they weren't using the tools on a day-to-day basis. So their use of the tools was quite irregular. So again, we can see an opportunity here, particularly for firms to be able to educate employees about how to use AI, how to use it effectively, ethically, and responsibly. But the important thing here is making sure that they've got access and that they know how to use the tools effectively.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Dr. Vishnu and Aaron.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Once again, those were Dr. Vishnu Nandugri, Kyndryl's ASEAN Head of AI and Innovation, and Aaron McIan, Vice President Advisory in the Gartner HR practice. For more news, visit AsianBusinessReview.com.